Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to share with you a concept that really serves as the core for all personal finance, health, and productivity advice that you could possibly find. In fact, once I tell you what it is, it's actually going to be really obvious and you could probably connect the dots, but I want to get the chance to share this idea with you guys. And once I had learned more about it, it really helped me understand why all of this advice across the internet is there. And let's talk about how exactly it can improve your life. So thank you guys for tuning in today, and the concept that I wanted to talk about with you all is the idea of delayed gratification. So when we talk about delayed gratification, the two most immediately obvious examples of that are really, one, the idea of saving money. So saving money is the classic example of, well, I could buy this iced coffee, I could buy this latte, or I could buy this new iPad immediately, or I can save and invest that money for the future, which we all know that if we choose to invest that, that's really going to be better off for us in the long run. But it's really hard for us to fight that urge to purchase that exact item that we want every single day. And this happens every day throughout my life, at least. There's always something that you come across on the internet. Maybe you're looking at some deals and there's some new tech. For me, there's some new tech item that pops up. And really it's a hard choice to not just click buy, especially because now everything's on a credit card and there's no real exchange of cash, so it doesn't feel like it hurts when you click buy. So saving money, for example, and choosing not to make that purchase of something that you really don't even need immediately is an example of delayed gratification. So another example that I think everybody can really relate to is the idea of eating healthy. Eating healthy is not fun. I don't really enjoy eating healthy. I don't know if you've ever come across somebody who has ever said that they don't like pizza. I mean, everybody loves pizza. I love pizza, you love pizza. Who doesn't? And honestly, if you don't like pizza, you're crazy. But I've never really come across that many pizza options that are truly healthy. And anybody who claims that they have a healthy pizza, well, it's not pizza to begin with, and it probably doesn't taste that good. Let's all be honest here. I don't care what anybody tries to convince me of. Healthy pizza does not taste as good as the pizza with a lot of bread on it and a lot of extra cheese. It's just, there's no comparison there. So with regards to the pizza example, it's difficult because it's easy for us to choose to want to eat pizza all the time, but we know that in the long run, that's just really not going to be good for us. There's a lot of long-term health consequences that are associated with that, metabolic conditions, things that we've all learned in the past 20 years that really get us in the long run. So being able to choose a healthy option like a salad over a pizza, I mean, that's truly delayed gratification. Now, the results and rewards of that are really long-term, but it's a really good example of how choosing to delay that gratification, eating a salad for now, will lead to better gratification in the long run in the form of a longer, healthier, and happier life, despite the fact that we don't have pizza at the moment. So believe it or not, there is actually some science behind the idea of delayed gratification, and researchers had studied this in the 1960s in what is famously known as the Stanford Marshmallow experiment. Now, this experiment was done with a variety of 4 to 5-year-old children, and what the researcher would do is the researcher would place these 4 to 5-year-old children in a room by themselves, and they would put them on a chair and there's a table in front of them. And the researcher would actually put a marshmallow in front of the children and tell them that they were going to leave the room for an unspecified amount of time. And if they were able to wait and not eat the marshmallow that was sitting there right in front of them, then the researcher would give them another marshmallow when they came back. So when you think about it, the calculation is relatively simple. It's 1 marshmallow now or 2 marshmallows later. Now, the trick here is that the researchers didn't actually tell the children how long they'd be gone, but effectively the way the study was run, the researchers were gone for about 15 minutes. And it was really, honestly, kind of interesting to read the results of how the children reacted. There was a variety of children who were unable to wait at all, and they just ate the marshmallow as soon as it was put in front of them. There were some kids who were able to wait for a little while, but then, it almost seemed like the marshmallow was talking to them and they were trying to resist the marshmallow, and they ultimately caved in to eating the marshmallow. But there was a small group of children that actually were able to resist the temptation, and they were able to wait the entire time that the researcher was gone, and they did end up getting a second marshmallow back from the researcher after they had come back to the room. Okay, so what's really the big deal here? These are just some marshmallows and some kids waiting around, and they're 4 to 5 years old, right? I mean, there really can't be that much to learn from this. Well, the real secret sauce for this research was not done at the time of the actual marshmallow experiment, but the researchers had followed the same group of children throughout their lives for the next 20 years or so. And they did follow-up studies, and they found out that the kids who were able to wait as 4 to 5 year olds for that second marshmallow, they had much higher life metric scores than the other children. They had higher SAT scores, they had lower livelihoods of adolescent obesity, they had better social skills as reported by their parents. So really, there was something behind this idea of delayed gratification and being able to wait for a better reward in the future by forsaking a reward that is immediately in front of you. Now, by no means was this experiment perfect. I'm sure there were a lot of other things that could have happened in these children's lives that affected SAT scores or social skills and things like that. Maybe they were conditioned when they were even younger that waiting didn't really get them anything. But that's all beside the point. We could try and sink the study and poke holes in it, or what we could do is try and learn from the idea that there is something behind this delayed gratification, and let's see if we can find ways to extrapolate it to other areas of our life to improve our health, wealth, and happiness throughout the lives as we continue on. So I want to jump back to that money example and tie in some, specific numbers associated with the idea of waiting and delaying gratification. So when we think about saving for retirement, and for those of us who are still in school or in college, well, I bet you've already been thinking about this. And the idea of studying is an example of delayed gratification. I know I went to college, I went to University of Texas at Austin, and it was an absolute blast. It was the best time of my life. But you have to carve out some time for studying there. And with studying, it's delaying immediate gratification. You can go to the bar and hang out with friends, or you can go, chill at their place and not study, or you can focus on studying first, delaying that gratification of hanging out with your friends, and get better grades, which should be able to set you up with a better job initially. And I don't want you guys to take it as me saying that you should not have fun while you're in college. I mean, definitely you should have fun, but go ahead and do that studying first, delay that gratification, so that way you can make good grades on those tests and look good to your prospective employer. And I have one more example for you guys, and this is specifically one that is really difficult for me. I never had any problems studying in college. I was good at that. Saving money, I'm generally pretty good at saving money. I'm not super tempted by, certain trinkets or things that, are relatively worthless. That's not really my weakness. My weakness specifically is listening to somebody first before speaking and responding to them. How many times have you been in a conversation where you're just waiting for the other person to finish what they're saying just so you can jump in and say something that may not even be entirely relevant? You just want to change the topic of the conversation. Well, if you speak like that in a conversation, it doesn't actually help, reinforce the bond you're trying to create with that person or create a high quality conversation. It's really just, two people sharing stories. But if you're able to make that other person feel heard, I think that's where you can really be able to build good relationships that way. And this is particularly tough because everybody loves the sound of their voice. Everybody wants to get the chance to say what they want to say and feel like they're heard. But what I've learned, and through reading several other books and trying to practice this in my daily life, that if you take the time to actually listen and understand what people are saying, they're gonna take the time back to listen to you. If you show that same level of respect to them, they're gonna be more inclined than not to show that back to you. Now, how do we actually get better at the idea of delaying gratification? Well, I wanna leave you guys with a foundational principle here, and it's not a super easy task. It's not just, oh, do this and you will get that. I want you guys to focus on understanding what exactly it is that you are delaying and what will be the result or the reward of being able to delay your gratification. Okay, so thanks guys for tuning in. Please reply in the comments below of some ideas of how delayed gratification have helped you, and what are some things that you can give up in your life now that can actually reward you much later in the future. And please never forget that if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'm planning on making more content. I understand that this is my first YouTube video. It may be a little rough at first, but liking and subscribing will help me with the YouTube algorithm, hopefully get out my message to a lot of other people out there who may need some of this advice. I just want to get the chance to share the advice that I come across. I do happen to read a lot, and I think everybody could really benefit from all of this advice. Thanks everybody. See you guys next time.